And
plus, we are finally hearing the truth about the super secret desert facility that researched UFOs. Area 51, about to be exposed to former employees telling their story of what they saw personally here in America's Newsroom. And it's next.
I saw the silver spaceships lying in the yellow haze of the sun.
Area 51, it is the most famous military institution in the world, and officially it did not exist. Officially, but you could find it about 100 miles outside of Las Vegas. And here on the launch pad, we can show you tucked between an Air Force base and an abandoned nuclear testing ground, again about 100 miles outside of town, way out in Nevada's high desert area. It has become now the holy grail of conspiracy theorists, with all kinds of wild stories about UFOs. It was even referenced in the hit movie Independence Day. Area 51 was connected by a series of underground tunnels and trains to other secret facilities in that part of the country. But what's the real story? For the first time, a few former employees now are speaking out, and two of them are legends. Joining me now, former physicist Edward Lovick, age 90, and former project specialist Thornton T.D. Barnes, age 72. And gentlemen, welcome to both of you. And Mr. Barnes, I'd like to start with you. You kept secrets for almost 50 years. Why did you want to work there in the first place?
It was a project that we realized was saving countless lives in the Vietnam War. That was our focus at that time. The North Vietnamese had approximately 9-to-1 kill ratio against our pilots. We were getting shot down left and right, and we needed to know what our troops were facing before they got there. So the CIA developed what we call the Ox card. It's the A-12 predecessor to the SR-71, and the primary purpose of it was to overfly Russia. However, we never flew over Russia at all with it. We used it in the Vietnam War to locate the missile SAM sites that our pilots would encounter as they went on sorties into North Vietnam.
So this was top secret stuff, and as you point out, you saved the lives of countless pilots through your research and your work. Mr. Lovick, why'd you choose to work there? By the way, they called it Paradise Ranch, not Area 51, and they called it Paradise Ranch so they could recruit guys like yourselves and your families to come work there. Mr. Lovick?
Well, first of all, good morning. Second of all, our families were not at all involved in any of this. It was, if anything, a bit above top secret for a while at least, about 50 years or so ago or so.
And Mr. Lovick, what work did you do specifically there?
My work always was involved in attempting to reduce the ability of hostile air, specifically the Russians at that time, the Soviet Union, the ability to detect our aircraft by means of radar. So most of my efforts were reducing the reflection of radar waves from the aircraft.
All right, and this was top secret stuff, as you point out. Mr. Barnes, there was an operation called, it was a flying vessel known as the Ox Card, and you mentioned this in your previous answer there. It had a bit of a disc shape to it to carry fuel. And when it would fly at night, it would catch the glint of the sun. And when commercial pilots were flying over this part of Nevada, they would look at that thing and they'd say, that's a UFO. They would land their planes in Los Angeles. They would be debriefed by the FBI. Was the Ox Cart what you believe led a lot of people to speculate might have been an unidentified flying object?
Oh, absolutely. At that time, no one in the world had a plane that would fly Mark III at 90,000 feet, which was what we were doing. Our cruise speed was 2,200 miles an hour, which is faster than a speeding bullet, a rifle bullet. And we flew 2,850 missions out of Area 51 alone, and flew all over the United States. And then as we got into the war, was actually flying into North Vietnam. But the people would see the reflection of the plane at that altitude and at that speed, and I'm quite sure that this was responsible for many of the UFO sightings.
Well, so Mr. Lovick, set the record straight from your perspective. Did you ever work or were you ever aware of a UFO during your time in Area 51?
Well, actually, never a real UFO. What Mr. Barnes referred to was certainly a very good explanation of what was known at that time, because it was well above whatever else was flying. Typically, well, say at 90,000 feet, it was almost 60,000 feet or so above what was commonly flying, and so the commercial aircraft pilots would see something, but they never were able to really see the shape of it. All they could see was some glint off the bottom of the airplane.
Yeah, it was made of had a titanium shell, and it was shooting across the sky 2,000 miles per hour, which could give you that impression. Gentlemen, I have to go here. Mr. Barnes, what is it like to publicly talk for the first time about your work there?
We're finding it extremely important for several reasons. We're involved in several oral history projects with various universities. We put up a website, and
what's the website?
Historians, authors. Yes, we do have a website.
And what's the name of it?
RoadrunnersInternational.com.
All right, we will check that out, and we will pass that on to our viewers. Gentlemen, thank you for sharing your story today. Thornton T.D. Barnes, Edward Lovick, one out of Las Vegas and one out of Los Angeles, California. Gentlemen, thank you for your service, and thank you for sharing today. All right, let's get back to Megan now. Right, so now,
those guys are terrific.
Allow the emails to come. You know when we do these segments,
I know.
They talk about it forever.
They didn't explicitly rule it out. We just focused on the